Before Hell Let Loose Vietnam launched, the technical director went on record and said the community voice would play a large role in how the game evolves. They charged you $39.99 and then they told you they figure out the rest together with you. Right now, players are swimming on land, assist is locking onto soldiers that you can't see through dense jungle, and the VoIP keeps cutting out in a game where talking to your squad is the entire point. Critics gave the game a 78. Did we really buy a finished game, or did Expression Games just make us a community guinea pig? That's what we're gonna get into today. There's a lot to like here, and I want to be fair about that before we get into anything else. If you've never played Hell Let Loose, here's the most important thing to understand up front. This is a 100-player tactical shooter, 50 per side, and individual skill is not going to carry you. You are one piece of a much larger machine, and when that machine is working, when the squad leader is calling positions, when everyone is pushing the same objective, and when the commander is making smart calls from the map view, the game creates moments that you generally don't find from other tactical shooters. A coordinated push that turns a losing match in the final minutes feels earned in a way that's hard to describe. When the squad isn't talking though, it's the most isolation experience that I've ever had in a multiplayer game in a while, and that's not a flaw in design, that's the genre. You need to understand that before you spend a single dollar. What makes this entry different from the original Hell Let Loose is the setting, and the setting changes everything. The Vietnam jungle isn't backdrop, it's an active factor in every match. Visibility drops to meters, not hundreds of meters. Dense trees, bushes, and grass means an enemy can be 10 feet away from you, and you might not be able to see them until it's too late. That forces you to really rely on your ears and more than your eyes. The sound design earns its keep here, distant gunfire that sounds like it could be 50 meters away or 500, the rhythm of the helicopter blades above the canopy, the quiet tree line that's probably not as empty as it looked. I've described this game as feeling like a horror game sometimes, and it's not an exaggeration. The tension is so real that it accumulates. The two factions play nothing alike. The US Army gets helicopters, player controlled, capable of moving squads quickly across the map, but vulnerable to RPGs and anti-aircraft fire. The first time that I got into one, I watched the map open up beneath me and it gently caught me off guard. The US has firepower and the air support. What the game does well is making sure that it doesn't just win matches automatically. The NVA gets tunnels, and honestly, this is my favorite new mechanic in any multiplayer game this year. You build network across the map, 4 active connections at a time, linking positions that would be dangerous to reach on foot. And when you enter one, the game cuts to a first-person crawl through the dark. It's claustrophobic in a way that fits really well. Emerging behind a position that thought it was secured is one of the most satisfying tactical moments that I've had playing this. The counter to a helicopter isn't another helicopter, it's appearing somewhere that you weren't supposed to be able to reach, and that's a really smart design decision by the dev. River pilot boats add a third vehicle layer on top of that. Some maps ask you to treat river crossing the way the tactical shooters treat roads. Controlling one decides whether a whole flank folds. The gunplay is deliberate and it rewards patience. The weapons consultant, Jonathan Ferguson's keeper of the firearms at the Royal Armatories, and that care shows in how each weapon handles. The M16 is a different experience from the AK-47. The bolt action rifles feels nothing like the machine guns. Learning the range and recoil of your role primary weapon is its own skill loop, and the payoff when it clicks is satisfying. Here's what this game looks like when everything comes together. Your commander spots a sector that the enemy has left exposed. He calls your squad leader to push it quietly with the supply truck, while other squads keep attention elsewhere. You build a garrison behind enemy lines, connect a tunnel, and then your squad emerges behind the front. 4 minutes later, the match flips completely. That's the kind of coordinator play that happens regularly when the team is communicating. I can't think of many other multiplayers where it does that. Across both factions, there are 19 roles: infantry, engineer, medic, anti-tank, recon, and many more. The medic role specifically, the difference between a squad with one and a squad without is not small. The NVA sapper builds and managing the tunnel networks. They're not fighting, they're just infrastructure. The team that neglects the infrastructure tend to lose, and sometimes without understanding why. 6 maps at launch covers dense jungle, urban environments, mountain gorges, and sand dunes. The variety is more meaningful than 6 sounds because the terrain rewrites the priority of every match. What matters in the jungle barely applies on the sand dunes. The thing about the jungle that took me a while to appreciate is how much it shifts the way information works. In most shooters, the battlefield is readable. You see who's where, you adjust. Here, the foliage takes that away. You're working from sound, from map callouts, and from the positioning that your squad leader is relaying, not from what you can directly observe. That sounds like a disadvantage. It actually is what makes the game so compelling. You learn to build a picture from a match without seeing most of it. The NVA tunnel system amplifies this even further, and then the tunnel entrance opens up 20 meters behind your line. Playing against a faction that can appear somewhere it shouldn't be able to reach keeps you from ever getting comfortable. That psychological pressure is historically accurate, and it's remarkably effective as a game design choice. Hell Let Loose Vietnam does have some messy parts, and this is where the community guinea pig framing stops being theoretical. Players are swimming on land. That's not a figure of speech. Actual soldiers are clipping through terrain and gliding across dry ground. Visual effects are broken in places. The VoIP drops mid-match. Graphics defaulted to low settings on launch without notifying anyone. AMD GPU users were hitting crashes on startup. The fix is there, and the fix is to add the DX12 to your Steam launch options, and it does work, so do that right now if you're already affected. Serviceability was rough in the first 72 hours. VIP access on community service caused some friction. Some of this was expected launch noise, but soldiers swimming on land isn't a drop frame. That's physics system failing in a way that certification is supposed to catch up front. And it showed up across PC, PS5, and Xbox in the first 3 days, which tells me it's not a hardware issue specific to a subset of players. Here's what ties this together though. Before the game launched, the technical director said, paraphrasing closely, that a major focus of the programming work was building infrastructure to support the game going forward. The game director said the community voice would shape how the game evolves. They said that openly. That's not a post-launch apology, that's a philosophy. That's a live service approach to a $39.99 premium release. The original Hell Let Loose launched rough too, and it grew into something generally good throughout the years of updates. That's not impossible with this game, but the original didn't announce that in advance that you were part of finishing the process. That framing changes what you're agreeing to when you buy it. The aim assist issue is the top complaint on Steam right now, and it's worth understanding exactly why. The game launched with crossplay enabled by default. Console players use controllers. Controllers have aim assist. Completely standard, right? The problem is how the aim assist behaves in this environment specifically. A PC player using a mouse has no help targeting an enemy they can't see through the foliage. A controller player whose crosshair drifts near that same hidden enemy gets the aim assist that tracks through the vegetation. Faction balance is a separate but relatable concern. Games radar flag matches where the NVA felt overturned on jungle maps, taking damage from 150 to 200 meters from enemies that were invisible. Some of that is by design, but home field advantage in the jungle is historical accurate, but some of it probably does need some tuning. The community will have to surface which is which, and with that, again, is exactly the game was built to receive. Only having 6 match is a lean content offering for a game positioning itself as a long-term multiplayer experience. The original Hell Let Loose launched comparably and expanded significantly. Whether Hell Let Loose Vietnam follows that pattern depends entirely on how fast and serious Expression Games act on the community feedback they specifically designed the game to collect. Look, my thoughts on Hell Let Loose is this is going to be the best Vietnam War tactical shooter made in over the last 2 decades. When the squad is communicating, when you emerge from a tunnel behind enemy lines, when the commander's call produces exactly the kind of coordinated push that the flips a match on his head, this game does something that I haven't found many other multiplayer titles do. The difference in the factions really work. The atmosphere is unlike anything in this genre. The tunnel system is my favorite new multiplayer mechanic this year. The 8 score on Metacritic is earned by the game that's here right now. The launch date is a problem the developer, by their own words, expected the community to help solve over time. Soldiers clipping through the ground, aim assist that tracks through vegetation PC players can't see through, voice communication failing in a game where it's the primary coordination tool. These aren't small cosmetic issues. They're affecting the core system the experience is built on, and they ship this at a premium price point where they openly describing a community-driven development philosophy. On PS5 or Xbox with a communicating squad, this game is worth it. The experience is at its best, justifies the $39.99, and the aim assist controversy doesn't apply to console-only lobbies the same way. On PC with full crossplay, filtered to PC-only servers, and add the DX12 if you're on AMD, and accept that you're playing at an early version, the game will be noticeable different in a couple months. So back to the question that I opened with. Did you buy a finished game, or did Expression Games make you their community guinea pig? Honestly, I would say the answer is both. The game underneath the launch problems is real and is really fun. The decision to ship this in a state under a community development philosophy and a premium price is also a little annoying. Which one that you can live with depends on how much patience that you have for being a part of the process rather than just playing the result. That's it for Hell Let Loose Vietnam. Drop a comment. Are you already in the jungle playing or waiting on patches, or does the community guinea pig situation kind of put you off on this game? I want to know where people are landing on this one. Hit subscribe if this is your type of content. I love when YouTube gives me money for just yapping. I'm on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 9:30 Eastern time. Come through and hang out with me and play some games. Watch your six out there, and as always, stay alpha.